Hey guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11, and this is one of those videos where I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. A while ago, I did a which should you choose video versus the Glock 43 and the SCCY CPX2. Well, today I wanted to go ahead and put what I would consider two of the king of the budget price pistols in the same video. Now, more or less, these guns tend to fall in around the same category. I consider them compact pistols. You can call them whatever you want to, but to me they're a smaller carry option. Dimensions are roughly the same, plus or minus, you know, a quarter of an inch here or there. So what we're going to do is just talk about some of the pros and cons, you know, the initial specs of each of these pistols, and which one should you consider purchasing if you're in the market for a sub $250 carry gun, and or I guess you could say truck gun, or just a basic bedside defense gun. Okay, because you know, neither one of these pistols is perfect. Each one kind of has its own little quirks, and I think there's some things that you need to know. There's a lot of videos on these guns that are out there, and when I start talking about accuracy, I do have two range videos that you guys can check out on my channel. I'll try to put the links in the description box below for those two range tests, and you can see how these videos performed in, I guess you could say, an amateur shooter's hands, my hands, at a bunch of different distances. First thing I want to do is just go ahead and let's just start off with specifications. All right, what do you need to know about these two guns? All right, well, barrel length, we've got 3.2 inches on the we're just going to call it the G2, the Taurus PT111 Millennium G2, and over here we've got a SCCY CPX2 with a barrel length of 3.1 inches. Let's see, height, overall height of the Millennium G2 is 5.1 inches. Overall height of the CPX2 is 4 inches. Overall length is 6.24 inches for the G2, and overall length for the CPX2 is 5.7 inches. Width is 1.10 inches on the grip, okay, which is more or less going to be the width overall of the firearm for the G2, and width for the SCCY CPX2 comes in at just a basic 1 inch, okay. Weight of the G2, we're looking at weight empty with empty magazine is 22 ounces. And your empty weight of your CPX2 is going to be 15 ounces. So there are some differences overall about these guns, and you might say, well, you can't compare these two guns because they're not close enough compared to this, compared to that. When it comes to a certain price point, a lot of people are going to be purchasing, you know, one or the other. Somebody who just wants a basic carry gun, somebody who wants a first gun, somebody who might not have a lot of money and maybe wants something, say, more compact than a high point, but doesn't have the money or want to carry, say, a Glock 17, or doesn't have the money for a Glock, is going to look at these models, guys. A lot of these pistols are sold in gun stores. If you look at the numbers and you just look at the overall popularity of them, they are out there. I mean, they're not a gun that's going away anytime soon. Capacity, we've got 12+1. Capacity, we've got 10+1. So again, they're pretty much on par. They're both basically double stack firearms. Let's see, first things first, pros. Pros of the CPX2, it's sleek. It's relatively easy to conceal. It does come with a lifetime warranty regardless of owner. It does come with two 10-round magazines with either the, I guess you could say, flush fit butt plate or the pinky extension butt plate. High quality materials in terms of the slide and the internals. We're looking at aircraft grade aluminum. It does have a Zytel polymer frame. And when we get into cons, we'll talk about the cons of each gun. I have fired this firearm for over 400 rounds. I have not had any problems with it. You know, that have been like major failures. Okay, now I've had some little minor things happen to it, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Overall feel, it feels good in the hand, although the recoil is a bit stout. This is sort of grippy, but it's also sort of slick at the same time, and you do have some nice finger grooves in the hand grip, and it is relatively easy to conceal. Okay, now I do actually daily carry a Car CT9, and that's just because it's a thinner pistol. I did give up a few rounds in capacity. But again, we'll talk about that some other point. So, okay, now, Millennium G2, pros about this gun. Awesome stippling, very easy to get a good purchase on it. Nice grip that'll fill your hand well, does fit your hands well. You do have an accessory rail, which you don't have for the CPX2. Both firearms have a decent selection of holsters that are out there. You can go through klingerholsters.com and get a Kydex holster for either one. Retail price, SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska, the pawn shop that I go through for my firearms, they're roughly $250, $240 for each one. And, you know, sometimes you might go to places that have specials or sales on them, and you can get really good deals on them. So price-wise, they're pretty much in the exact same price point. I mean, if I go online, they're literally $250 and $249 from the supplier for SS Pawn. Other pros about the Millennium G2. I guess if you really care and you think you need it, you do have a safety. Now you can get a safety on the CPX1, but it does kind of change the grip, and it is, in my opinion, a more uncomfortable gun to fire. You also have a lifetime warranty on this firearm, and I believe, don't quote me on it, but I believe it is regardless of owner. Okay, I believe it covers the gun no matter who it goes to. Okay, you do have adjustable sights on the Millennium G2. You do not on the CPX2. Materials, I believe we have a steel frame that's just blued, or just kind of got its own little finish on it. Both firearms have, okay, you've got a steel guide rod on the CPX2 and a steel polymer guide rod on the Millennium G2. Let's see, what else we need to know. Okay, now let's talk about triggers. Let's get into cons a little bit. Cons about the CPX2. Trigger is love it or hate it. Okay, by the way, both these firearms have been cleared. It is a heavy, I mean, it feels 8+ pounds when you do pull on it. Trigger, personally, I like it. After 3 years of daily carry and hundreds of rounds through this firearm, I've gotten used to the trigger. I feel it's fairly easy to stage, manually, even though it's just a consistent pull all the way through. And I've become fairly accurate with it out to about 50 feet. But for somebody who's not used to it, it is a hard trigger to get used to. In fact, it'll definitely affect accuracy if you don't practice with it. You're not used to that heavy of a pull. Plus, the other problem I have with the CPX2, your reset on it is very long. With gloves on, I cannot get the gun to reset, and I live in a cold weather environment for about 6 to 7 months out of the year. Definitely a problem, and so that is one of the reasons why I switched over to the Car CT9, because I wanted something with a bigger trigger guard. Okay. Another con about this firearm, I did have the frame pins walk out within the first 100 rounds, and I contacted SCCY. They did rush ship me replacement pins, which I put in myself. 350 rounds later, I'm up to 450 rounds through this gun, because every time I go to the range, I'll take 50 rounds with me of this particular firearm, and I have not had a problem since then. Okay, now I did have a second mag, because at one point I had 2 CPX2s. I had a second mag that did have problems. It was nosediving the rounds into the feed ramp, and that was causing some definite issues. And so I contacted SCCY, and they sent me 2 replacement magazines. Okay, I sent them back the defective mag. They sent me 2. I've not taken them to the range yet. I need to. I'm going to get them broken in and see how well they work. I did take them apart and clean them, and I put that up on YouTube, and I got a video showing you how to do that procedure. So those are the cons with this firearm. Recoil is a bit stout, but if you practice with it enough, if you practice a proper grip and hold on the firearm, it's not that hard to learn how to shoot accurately and comfortably with. But again, it takes a little bit of practice. Millennium G2 is a much lighter shooter. Obviously, it's a heavier gun. It's going to absorb the weight and the recoil better. You can get a better purchase on it overall. A much more stouter grip, more grip on it. Cons about the Millennium G2, a lot of guys complain about this trigger, that it's got this ½ inch of basically nothing before it stops and then breaks. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, here's the thing, guys. In a self-defense situation, are you really going to be thinking about that at that time if a person's coming at you and your life is in danger? Probably not. You're probably thinking, let's get these rounds at the person who wants to end my life as quickly as humanly possible. You're not going to be thinking about the trigger pull. Now, if the trigger's that bad that it's going to affect accuracy, then yeah, maybe you should consider a different firearm. Me, it doesn't bother me. I like it. You pull back on it. Obviously, okay, we're in the double strike mode right now. Okay, it does have a very light reset, and it resets in about a 1/4 inch or so, less than a ½ inch. So you pull and it stops, and you know when it's going to break. It's a very obvious thing. When you practice with it, you just get used to it. And I know everybody complains about the trigger, saying, "Oh my God, it's terrible, it's awful." I guess I don't understand why. When you practice with it enough, it's not a problem. Cons on this gun? Let me see. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I don't even know how many rounds through this thing. Every time I go to the range, I'll take 50 to 100 rounds, and I'll just burn them through the G2. I'm probably over 500 rounds on this gun, and I think I've had this one for just a little over a year. No problems. I mean, everything's wearing normally. It shoots. So, and that's another thing I want to point out. My little rant here for just a minute. If you're going to hate on my video because you hate Taurus, okay, you have every right to. That's fine. Maybe you've had bad experiences with it. You know what? I've had bad experiences with many different brands of firearms. Some of them not so cheap, right? And so if this gun sells for $250 and it fires every time I pull the trigger, and I'm 500 rounds in, what is the problem with the gun? Okay, what is it that you don't like about the Taurus? Oh, it's Taurus, it's crap, it's a crap brand. Okay, I've had nothing go wrong with it. If it works when I need it to work, then it's done its job, and I'd say that's pretty darn commendable. So before you go hating on me, before you go hating on this and that, whatever, okay, understand that the gun fires. Okay, and you say, well, nothing fancy broke the trigger blade on his pistol. Okay, well, that might happen to a lot of guns if you go bury them out in the snow and shoot them in 5-degree temperatures or 8-degree temperatures. You might have parts break. Yeah, it's just a basic polymer, and parts can break. Now, that is a little alarming. Okay, I hope that Taurus addresses that and that there isn't a consistent problem with that trigger safety breaking off in the future, but for the daily use that I use, using it as a range gun or using it as a truck gun or as a one-time concealed carry gun, as I used to, it never had any issues. Physically, the firearm is fine, okay? So, again, okay, so it broke, okay? It broke. All right, that happened. I understand. Cool, whatever. Now, again, as for the CPX2, I've heard horror stories about the frame cracking. It is a Zytel polymer, and so I don't know exactly what it is about that, but I've never had an issue. Maybe those guys are firing plus P ammo through it. Maybe they haven't cleaned it before they fired it. Maybe they modified it and put in a different recoil spring and it put more stress on the frame than it was designed for. I don't know. Or maybe the gun just flat out failed, okay? If I would have ever had that problem, I would have put that on camera in my range video. I would have been more than happy to tell you. Because again, I'm not endorsed by anybody to show these videos. Yeah, I mean, when I was showing my CPX2 at the range, it was having trouble. It was jamming on, you know, that mag that I'd never used before. Every other round was nosediving, and I showed that on camera. And at that point, I decided I was not comfortable carrying that firearm with that magazine. And here I turned around and did, you know, 20 rounds through the other magazine after I turned off the camera, and it was fine. So I'm okay with it. I do trust it with my life. Say what you want. Again, if the gun works when I need it to work, that's all I'm going to care about, right? So everybody's entitled to their own opinion, so that's enough of my complaining. All right, so in the end, okay, you got $250, let's say $275, and you don't know which one you want to go with. You're trying to decide between these two. Which one should you go with? Okay, if you want an all-around, fairly easy to conceal firearm, now bear in mind, okay, this aggressive stippling is going to rub when you're concealing it if you don't have the correct kind of holster, if you don't have something behind it, like a sweat guard or material behind it, it's going to rub, but it's perfectly concealable. It works as a great range gun, truck gun, kind of all-around pistol. You got the flexibility of the light. Okay, that makes the Millennium G2 a very strong contender. CPX2, sleek, relatively lightweight, good warranty. Obviously, that's not what you should depend your life on, but again, it's there to back you up, okay? A little bit more limited with accessories. There is a laser you can get for it, I believe, from Sky Direct, okay? Which one of these two would I choose in the end? Now, as much as I love the CPX2 and as much as it was my trusted daily carry for 3 years, if I had to choose between one of the two, personally, I would go with the Millennium G2. Higher capacity, easier to use, I guess you could say ergonomics, lighter trigger, softer shooter, durable, okay, fires, accurate. I am more accurate with the Millennium G2 out to distances of, say, 60 to 75 feet than I am with the CPX2. With the CPX2, I think once I got past about 40 feet, my groups were opening up to like 4, 5, 6 inches, which sounds awful. But again, I was shooting just basic, you know, federal brass ammo, nothing fancy. And you've got a bit of kick, you got a bit of recoil. And it's going to start to affect your accuracy at that range. So if you want to go for a longer distance shoot, okay, but either one of these would be an acceptable self-defense pistol, say within 20 feet. Okay, so either one of these is going to be fine. So anyway, Millennium G2, love it. I think it's great. Again, this gun gets a lot of testing on the internet. There's a lot of videos about it. Mine's been holding up really well. The finish is starting to wear a little bit. And it looks kind of cool. I love the Flat Dark Earth, which you can now get. Apparently Academy's carrying these. You can also get them on Gunbroker and Flat Dark Earth. For a while there, they were kind of like a holiday special edition you can only get around the time of Black Friday. So yeah, there you have it. Which one would I choose? I would choose a Millennium G2, although the CPX2 was a more comfortable daily carry before I switched over to the car. So there you have it. At least this time, unlike the Glock in the Sky video where I said, just buy them both. This time around, okay, G2 is going to win. And again, if you want to check out my range videos, you can do that. I have a little pre-show where I talk about the ammo I'm taking out, what I'm going to shoot at. And then we got the range video itself where I'm shooting at distances of in increments of 10, like 10 feet out to 60 feet or 50 feet. And you can see how it goes. So again, I love both of these pistols. They work great. I would trust my life to both of them. And if it failed, well, then I guess I chose the wrong pistol, right? And again, you're going to chime in and say, well, just get a Glock. Great, fine, whatever. If I was going to, you know, if I needed to help somebody pick out a first firearm, if they didn't have a lot of money, okay, again, nothing wrong with the High Point, nothing wrong with a lot of the other budget pistols out there, I would still choose one of these two, okay, just because of my experiences with them. So there you have it, guys. And if these two ever fail, if I ever have problems, I'll be more than happy to put it on camera and tell you. So, all right, guys, I want to thank you for watching this evening. I want to thank you for listening to me babbling about these two budget price pistols. And I'll be heading out to the range here in a couple days. It's going to be a few days before I can get out again. I got a lot of stuff coming up for work here. It's going to limit my time. Again, YouTube is my hobby. I just do this because I love to make the videos and it's fun. I love to bring you guys this information. And yeah, so again, please like or subscribe to the channel, guys. You can follow me over on Twitter and also on Instagram. You can follow me on gunchannels.com. If you're not a member, you need to go join. Check out SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. Give Stan a call if you're looking for a firearm. And I'll put the information for that video in the link down below. Otherwise, I think that's about it. This is turning into one of those full-length feature Nothing Fancy-esque videos, and for that, I apologize. But again, there's a lot of features of these two pistols I wanted to talk about. So if you're considering one of these two, you can rent one, borrow one, take one to the range, you know somebody that has one, definitely do that. Okay, get out there and definitely do it. And I think that you might be surprised at what you can get for your money. So, all right, there you go, guys. There you have it. I want you guys to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as always, we will talk to you soon. Please like or subscribe, guys. All right, have a great night. Okay, bye-bye.